Sports Rabbi covers Israeli sports from basketball to soccer and many more. For hard-hitting opinions and thoughts, the Sports Rabbi Josh Halickman gives it all.
All right, we're back with the Sports Rabbi Josh Halickman. Welcome aboard to the Sports Rabbi Rants once again. Happy to have you on board with us here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to us and make sure you press that like button. Boy, it is State Cup, Israel State Cup final action coming up on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Israel time. This is it. Maccabi Tel Aviv, Hapoel Jerusalem, the final that almost everyone wanted except for the Hapoel Tel Aviv fans and club, most probably. But it is going to be yet another classic final for the third straight year. These two teams will be taking each other on. This time back at the arena. Hapoel Jerusalem right now is 2 straight and looking to three-peat. Maccabi Tel Aviv is looking to win their first cup since 2021. And they, of course, won that season. But they are the last team to actually have a three-peat. So Hapoel Jerusalem is looking to do that. They're going to be playing at their home arena. It should be a split crowd, probably 50% Maccabi fans, 50% Hapoel Jerusalem fans. Wow, it is going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. The Sports Rabbi, of course, was at the pre-game press conference, and I was also at the pre-game Hapoel Jerusalem practice. Got to talk to a number of the players. They seemed loosey-goosey. Got to speak to Chris Johnson, seemed to be in good spirits. Got to speak to Kadeen Carrington. He was cool. Jeremy Morgan got to say hi. Boy, it was fun. It was fun to be out there. It was fun to see them getting ready for the game. They didn't look pressurized whatsoever, but of course that's how professional athletes are and should be in most cases, not to look like they're under pressure. Then we had the press conference. Oded Katash, head coach of Maccabi Tel Aviv, and Captain John Dibartolomeo on the yellow and blue side. And of course, you had Yonatan Alon, head coach of Hapoel Jerusalem, and Captain Yovel Zoosman on the red side. And what's interesting about the dynamics of these of this group of 4 players, the 2 players and 2 coaches, is that they are pretty much friends. I mean, the 2 coaches have worked with each other and have been with each other for years and years and years. Yonatan Alon was an assistant with Oded Katash. Oded Katash had been in Jerusalem as well as a coach and won a cup. And there's just so much going on between those 2 people that there is, no hatred involved. They like each other. They are, friendly. They are friends. And you saw the same thing out of Yovel Zoosman and John Dibartolomeo. I mean, it's clear that, they spent so many years together, especially at Maccabi Tel Aviv. Of course, John Dibartolomeo there since 2018. And Yovel Zoosman was at Maccabi from 2015 to 2021. So you're looking at, a number of good seasons that these 2 players played with each other and have a relationship, also on the national team as well. Both players have been there also. And, before the press conference, they were just sitting around and just hanging out, smiling, laughing a little bit. And also you see the picture of this video, and you can see the smiles on both of their faces. And, they're excited to be there. They're happy to be there, but they are also friends. Is that the best thing for a rivalry? Well, in today's day and age, the friendships and rivalries have kind of been blurred together. But boy, back in the day, if it was the 70s, 60s, 80s, even 90s, players, did not like each other on the other sides and wouldn't be talking to them and would be, trying to avoid each other and trying to rile each of their own fan bases up before the game. But there is a certain love between these people in a good sense, and also in a sense that maybe we'd like to see a little bit more, of that what we had back in those days, back in those years where the rivalries were, so tight and so tough. And the only time that, players would ever really talk to each other on different teams was at an all-star event, for example. If you look back at the days of Major League Baseball, I'm sure, Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, some of these players would never have spoken to each other outside of the game. They were not going out for dinner after a Tuesday night game at Yankee Stadium, for example. That was not going to happen. The same thing in hockey. You were not going to have a Montreal Canadiens player and a Boston Bruins player ever being seen going out to eat after a tough game. And today's day and age, that's probably somewhere a little bit of the norm. But I guess that's the beauty also of the sport of basketball, especially now in Israel at this time when the country has suffered so much through the war with Hamas. Hostages are starting to return home back to Israel. You want to try to put a united front in this country, which is still tough. There's still a lot of frustrations between the right and the left, and what should be done and what shouldn't be done, and how this should be handled and how that should be handled. And maybe this is what we need in sports, is this purity of sports where there are two teams that, may not hate each other, but they're coming together and they're going to play for a championship with fan base. 50%, it'll be 5,000 and 5,000 or so fans of each in the arena. And that's something good right now. I think we need that unity as a country, as a people. That is good. And I think that's what this picture really symbolizes, is that you see the smiles on their faces and you saw them sitting before the game laughing together and talking together. And, there are so many bigger things that are out there. And sports is supposed to be fun. Let's be honest. That's really what sports are all about. Sports is supposed to be fun, and rivalries are fun. And yeah, you want to see some kind of, edge maybe a little bit to these guys. And I'm sure when the clock strikes 9 o'clock tomorrow night, there will be, and Thursday night, there will be plenty of, focus on one goal at hand. Each team and each player and each coach and each staff member and each owner, they all want to win the cup. That's the bottom line. They want to take home the trophy. They want to come out winners. Who's going to hoist it? Will it be John Dibartolomeo and Maccabi Tel Aviv? Will it be Yovel, Zoosman and Hapoel Jerusalem? That is yet to be determined. But that's the ultimate goal here. They want to lift that trophy and they want to celebrate with their fan base. And that is the beauty of sport. And that is why, especially during this time where we need unity as the Jewish people, as the nation of Israel, this is the prime example. And to really signify that, of course, the State Cup is played with the President of Israel, Isaac Herzog, in attendance, which is always exciting and always a wonderful moment that the President of the country is there, is present at this momentous occasion, together with everybody. And he is just like everybody else. He is a fan. He's somebody that likes sports. And yes, Isaac Herzog is a sports fan. And before him, Ruby Rivlin, was definitely a sports fan. He was part of Beitar Jerusalem's management. So there's a long history of sports. They love sports. People love sports. Israelis love sports. And this is the chance for this unity, this togetherness to happen and come together. And there's going to be a lot of X and O's, and maybe we'll talk about that right now a little bit. I have a little bit of a hunch, just my own thinking, that Yonatan Alon's going to make a little switch in his lineup. I think we're going to see Jeremy Morgan in, and perhaps Tariq Phillip out for this game coming out. I think, and this is just me thinking, I have no knowledge if this is going to happen or not, but they want to play up to Maccabi Tel Aviv's bigs and their wings. They may need a player like Jeremy Morgan to do so. Tariq Phillip is not as big as some of those Maccabi Tel Aviv players, and Jeremy Morgan could neutralize them. Now, of course, the argument's going to be, why are we going to change the lineup after we won against Bnei Herzliya? Well, you only won by a few points, and it was a tight game. And this may be, you may need to make a little bit of a change to get your team over the hump to take the victory. We know that for Maccabi Tel Aviv, Jalen Horde is not going to be playing. He is out. Oded Katash made that very clear in the press conference, that he's just not going to be available. And I don't know when we're going to see him back, but it will be for some time. But again, looking forward to the State Cup final. Other news in the Israeli basketball scene is that Hapoel Tel Aviv had an announcement that 3 players are going to be out for some time. Yamadar had some kind of procedure done on his knee for a meniscus, and he's going to need to rest and recover at this point. Tomer Guinot had a partial tear in his hamstring. He's going to be out as well. And Bruno Caboclo seems to have had an ankle issue that came up during the State Cup game itself, and he's going to be out as well. Will this open the door for Patrick Beverley, who has been suspended by the team, to come back? I would have to think yes, because who knows of these players who will be available, especially for the Euro Cup game that they're going to play in about a month from now in the quarterfinals, which is a one-and-done game. So to start bringing in new players and trying to find new players may not be the brightest of ideas. I think, some people are going to have to just check their egos at the door, get together, smoke the peace pipe, have a powwow, and say kumbaya and come back together, because at this point, Patrick Beverley needs Hapoel Tel Aviv. Hapoel Tel Aviv needs Patrick Beverley. I think that is crystal clear. We'll see if that's going to happen. We'll see if people can check their egos at the door and make that happen. I think it would be a benefit for both parties, and it would be a wonderful, a summation of, of a time that obviously Patrick Beverley had been out over here for the last little while, being suspended by the club. So we'll see how that works out. So, this is exciting. Everybody should be checking us out, of course, at the Sports Rabbi, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, sportsrabbi.com for the latest and greatest news, both in English and in Hebrew. We deliver to you in both languages. Again, make sure you press that subscribe button. Make sure you press that like button. Send this out to your friends. We come here daily. We're going to give you about 10 to 13 minutes of, what's going on, the big hottest stories in Israeli sports. We want to bring that to you with our great pictures. Check us out. Instagram, we have tons of posts, tons of pictures. Twitter, we have all kinds of articles. On the Hebrew website, there's all kinds of original pieces. The English website, also all kinds. You want to read about all the happenings at the press conference? That's there in English. That's there in Hebrew. Not translated. They're two totally separate articles, two separate ideas, two separate pieces. So check that out. Looking forward to the big State Cup game on Thursday night, and we'll be back with you after that to give you what happened and bring you all the big stories from that exciting evening at the Jerusalem Arena. But for right now, I want to wish everybody a great day from the holy city of Jerusalem.